Good evening, everyone. Good morning, depending on your time zone, and welcome. Okay, I'm truly excited to be here for today's webinar, hosted by Bright Flare Tech Academy. And tonight, it's going to be also it's not the normal strategy or format of the former webinar. I believe that tonight we are going to learn a lot. Okay, so you can share the link with your friends so they can also join and benefit from the session tonight. Okay, so tonight we will be diving into a topic that's very relevant to today's pace, or how to stand out in a competitive tech job market. Okay, so whether you're a fresh graduate or a career switcher or someone that is to break into tech or land your next big role, this session is for you. So I want you to grab your notepad and also stay engaged. Okay. You can also drop your question in the chat box. We will have a Q&A session where we will take your your questions. Okay. So tonight we have a professional in our midst, Ebube. She is a consultant and I know she's ready for us tonight. Okay, so I'm going to just um, call her in so she can introduce herself. Okay, but before I do that, she's currently a people and change consultant at KPMG, and she's dedicated to helping businesses and individuals grow, okay, and succeed. Okay, so I'm going to bring her in so she can introduce herself.
Hi, 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 hi. Hello. Hope you could hear me.
Welcome to my session.
Yeah, good evening. Apologies, I can't turn on my video right now, but I am fully on board. Yeah. So you mentioned I should
Okay,
introduce myself.
no problem.
Actually, you've given the whole introduction.
Yes.
But yeah, like you mentioned, my name is Ebube Victory Festus. I'm currently a people and change consultant at KPMG. Was initially at InterSwitch as an HR advisor, and also was in Kendall Consulting. So my career has really been around HR, the different functions of HR, from recruitment to learning and development to organizational development. So yes, and I'm also a career coach for especially early career entry level people, just to advise them around how to start up their career and how to find that career that they really want. So yes, that is me. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's great. It's good to have you.
Good to.
Okay, and it's going to be a wonderful session. So before we dive into, we have some numerous questions from different people. But before we dive into the questions, um, we are going to just ask um, regarding this, how to stand out in a competitive tech job market. So, to you, what does it mean to stand out in this competitive tech job market where we have numerous people with skills and graduates just popping into the labor market and those that have been there for years with experience? Okay, so how can one stand out in the job market?
Okay, how can one stand out in the job market? I think standing out means being different. That is a whole lot of people that are chasing what you want, but how do you stay different? How do you become the choice of whomever is recruiting? So standing out basically is being unique, being the choice of whatever company or whatever employee that is recruiting for a particular role. And how do you stand out? It starts from you yourself, how you package your whole self. And packaging involves from your CV to your profile to your portfolio to your portfolio, to how you present yourself in the interview, to how you are visible out there. So standing out is being different from the crowd. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's okay. Okay. Thank you. So we'll just start with the questions, so we won't take time. S- So Chisom,
Okay.
she's asking that she's applied for several roles, over 30 roles, but she never get a response. So, or something else is it that she's doing wrong? Okay, can you? uh, She has applied for several roles,
Okay.
okay, but she's not getting.
So
Okay,
okay, to Chisom. So
over
I
to
would
you. Yes, you
say
can.
it's from how she positions herself. So positioning includes from how you position yourself from your CV. So your CV is the first contact for a recruiter when it comes to you. So how are you drafting your CV? I've seen a lot of CV, and sometimes I look at them, I don't really understand what I would have to look deeply, intently for me to understand. And really, recruiters don't have that time. They just want to view and see what they want. So first off, how are you packaging? How are you drafting your CV? Also your profile. So you send me your CV. I see your name. The next thing I would want to do is to check from maybe check your portfolio or go to your LinkedIn profile or go to your LinkedIn profile basically to see what you have done, what are you talking about on LinkedIn, yeah, your portfolio too. So it really stems from how you positioned yourself to a recruiter out there. Like I said, there are a whole lot of people applying for that same role, but really, how do you position yourself? So that could be a problem. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's elaborate. You talked about portfolio and LinkedIn. Okay. So for a fresh graduate that is just coming in without any experience yet, okay, how
Mm-hmm.
can they make their CV stand out? Okay, that's a question from Aisha. Okay,
Okay, so
so
for a
they
fresh
just
graduate,
yeah.
for a fresh graduate, um, first off, I was once a fresh graduate, so this is how I am going to just apply it to my experience, so that I'm not giving you motivational talk here. So, graduate, the manager of a bank was once a fresh graduate. So, how do you position yourself? What do you do as a fresh graduate? And I think first off, it stems from getting to learn the skill that is required for that role. So, I looked at myself. Oh, I'm interested in HR. What did I do next? I went to LinkedIn. I went to look at job ads. What kind of skills are these job ads looking for? I also went to look at people that are in my role have been in my role. I went to stalk their pages. I went to see what they've been doing. I went to You see, when I say I study people's profile, I go to LinkedIn, I go to study your profile. What kind of courses have you been taking? I am going to take those courses. So first off, I would say learn the skill through courses. You can do that. And another thing would be while you are in school or while you are out of school, you must have done volunteering, or you must have done certain things in your project. It's really great that you highlight it on your CV. How did you apply yourself to those projects? And also, you could take up personal projects, because you could start a personal project. I think I started a personal project for myself, and I referred it to. I think it was one of the things that made my first recruiter recruit me. I referred her to my social media page. I never had to put my CV. I just put up my work on social media. So you could start up a personal project talking about what you've learned, yeah, talking about what you've learned or something you are doing on GitHub. So you see volunteering, you see learning a skill. Yeah, those are things that are very important for a fresh graduate.
Okay. Very, very kind. Okay. It leads me to this next one from Kelechi. So you mentioned portfolio, working on projects. So do recruiters really check the GitHub profiles, and what do they look out for? You're asking us to build projects and work on. Do they really check? Do they have the time, the luxury of time to check?
Okay, so I would say yes, they do check GitHub, especially for technical roles where they need you to have certain skills. So, what are they looking out for? They are looking for how you've applied yourself to those projects. How did you think through those projects? What is your why for choosing a particular approach to those projects? So they are looking at your thought process and looking out for skills that you applied on those projects. So yes, especially for tech, when they are looking for technical skills, they look out for those projects that you've done, and also your experience in the industry. So yeah, they do look out side projects on GitHub.
Okay, that's valid because I remembered one of the jobs applied for. The recruiter during the interview session said they checked my GitHub and they were asking questions based on what they saw, which was a standing point. So that's a valid point. So you mentioned curating a right CV. Okay, I know there are different templates online on how to curate CV and the rest. But one other thing that recruiters mentioned or highlight is cover letter. Do recruiters, hiring managers, do they actually check or it's just a waste of time when applying? Sometimes you just send your CV like that without any message following, no follow up cover letter. So is it very necessary? Do recruiters pay attention to cover letter? So David is asking.
Yeah, yeah, they do. If they ask you for a cover letter, they definitely pay attention to cover letter. I remember one of my second job, they asked me to write a particular essay, more like a cover letter for the job. When I got that job, they made reference to the cover letter. So they actually do. What cover letters help to do is to help you give more explanation to what you highlighted on your CV. So a recruiter is basically looking at more details of what you highlighted on your CV, and also behavioral details. So sometimes your write-up could speak of your kind of personality and see if you are actually a culture fit for that role. So yes, they do if they ask you to write a cover letter.
Okay, thank you. It seems we just moved to the questions that they're already asking. Okay, this is Tamunotoye. So he or she is asking some applicant CV are not clear. What are those clarity CVs?
Okay, so when I say they are not clear, sometimes they are everywhere. So you see them, you're not grouping your project to the right section, you're not grouping your skills to the right section. So I want to see your CV and I want to see your skill properly highlighted, clearly highlighted in a particular section. I also want to see your projects clearly highlighted. I want to see your industry experience clearly highlighted, what you did in those industry and what you did in those particular project. So yes, sometimes it's just everywhere. You are putting details that is not even necessary. I want to see the courses you take that are clearly highlighted and grouped properly. So I'm seeing a section for courses and certification. I'm seeing a section for work experience, for projects, for skills. So just clearly detailed and I highlighted that this is not everywhere basically. That anybody that picks it, they just get to see what they want to see in like seconds and be done with the CV. So yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, thank you. And based on statistics, it's noted that recruiters don't even spend up to 7 seconds on a particular
Yeah,
CV. Okay,
yeah.
so it's important we arrange our CV appropriately to get attention. Okay, so that's valid. So if you are just joining us, this a webinar, a monthly webinar, and the topic we are treating today is how to stand out in a competitive tech job market. So you can drop your message in the chat box. We will attend to them. Okay. So going forward, um, I want to just ask a personal question. When it comes to the tech role, um, some of us want to land foreign roles, okay, but most times it seems that there are a lot of rejections that we always get, especially from Nigeria, maybe because of um, what has happened. I don't know what our brothers have done or sisters. So, what am I to do differently to also get foreign roles or remote roles? Okay, are there things I need to pay attention to, especially in this tech job market?
Well, I think, in as much as, like you mentioned, that some people have behaved in a bad manner, damaging the reputations of Nigerians, there are still people that get these roles. And what have they done differently? What have they done differently? I believe your skills will always speak for you. Your skills, your character, and how you position yourself there. So highlighting your skills properly. If you know your onion, definitely they will come for you. So I would say you should highlight your skill properly. Learn the skill. Your skills will always speak for you. Learn it. It's not something that you are just saying out there. It is something that you know. So learn the skill. In summary, your skills will always speak for you. Put yourself out there and just keep applying. Don't give up. People will get it despite the reputational damage. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
very much for that. Okay, so sometimes many people cross the stage of the CV and they enter interview. Okay, so what has been your biggest turn off um, during interviews for tech roles? Okay, I'm asking this. Tolu asking now. Tolu is asking what
Okay.
what's your biggest
Okay.
turn off?
I think in my experience when it comes to interviewing people, my biggest turn off would be first off, some people don't know what the business is about. So you come into an interview, they're even asking you basic question about the company or what the business is about, and you don't have answers to them. So before coming to an interview, try to know, even if you are doing a hardcore tech role, you should understand what the business is about because it's going to guide your solution to whatever problems you're solving. So try to first off understand what the business is about. Check out the company, check out their website, check them out on LinkedIn. What are they doing currently? So you understand the business. Another thing would be poor communication of um poor communication of their skills or whatever project they've done. So I think one huge problem that is in most organization is around, especially engineers, how they don't know how to communicate. They don't have communication skills, most engineers. So they know the job, they actually know the job. So come out and explain what you've done for people to understand the kind of solution you've provided. So if you are coming to an interview, you should be able to explain it to an understandable level for what is your thought process around this project, what motivated you, why, what is your why for this project. You should be able to explain it in those interview. I think that's one thing. They actually have the skills, they did the project, but communicating what you did clearly is could be a huge factor in an interview. Another thing would be talking too much around an interview. I think that's a huge turn off. Basically, go straight to the point. What did you do? What was your why? Don't talk too much and make the interviewer get lost the whole in the in the whole process. So talk less, but still communicate what you need to communicate. I think something else again would be around character. So some most especially for senior levels, most of these tech candidates are they seem pompous, or their motivation is beyond the solution they are bringing, is not on the solution they are bringing. We know money is important, but you see behavior and character is very, very essential. So that enthusiasm around work is also very important when you are interviewing with a recruiter. So yeah.
No, thank you for that. I'll just touch on the character aspect and also defending what you claim you did. Okay, I've attended several interview sessions where the applicants put a lot on their CV, and while the recruiter was asking questions based on what's on the CV, he or she couldn't defend it. Look, I claimed I work on a app that can do this, do that.
Yeah.
And when they are asking you, you cannot defend it. So I know the job market is porous, and because of the way things are, there's a pressure to push and the narrative of what you are not. Okay. So I'm just adding a voice to what she
Mm-hmm.
said. Okay. When you are preparing for an go through what you've done, even if they assisted you with the project, make sure you understand so that when they're asking you questions based on what is on your CV, you can be able to answer.
Yeah.
Okay. And also, she mentioned in a background about the company you are interviewed for. Okay. Try and know about the company before the interview. It says a lot about you being ready to work with them. Okay. Tamo no also sent another question. Okay. She's saying, as a fresh graduate, will you say that completely online courses are relevant? And even when they aren't from a recognized body?
Okay, online courses, are they relevant even when they aren't from a recognized body? Yes, I believe they are relevant. From recognized bodies is also a good thing, but when you sometimes as a fresh graduate, some of these people cannot really afford. They can't afford. They can't afford to pay for certain courses for this recognized body, although some of them are free, but some of these courses they can't afford it. So having those courses are relevant, and sometimes it is not just those courses that recruiters are looking for. They're looking for your willingness to learn. They want to see your how curious you are, how do you show that you want to learn to a recruiter. They definitely want to see, oh, you are taking courses, it means you actually taking action about learning. So they want to see your willingness to learn as a fresh graduate. Even if you have that skills, that curiosity needs to be there, and your willingness to learn. It's something that is very important for recruiters. They're not just looking out for the courses, they are looking out for your willingness to learn. Yeah. Okay. Hello. Hmm. Most likely network.
So can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
Oh, very sorry. Seems that's
Okay.
network. Okay. So I was um asking what Michael
I
asked.
can't hear
Mike,
you.
can you hear me now?
Yes, I can, but it's breaking.
Okay. Okay. So I said Michael is asking which mistake was that one mistake that candidates keep making during technical interviews.
One mistake that candidates keep making during technical interview. I think I would say not being able to highlight their skills properly, not being able to talk around their skills. I think I don't know if I answered this question initially. So yes, but I would say not being able to highlight their skills properly, talk around their thought process when it comes to, like you mentioned, defending the project that they did, not being able to communicate it properly, and yeah, not being able to communicate it properly. And another thing would be not following up after an interview too. I always advise candidates to follow up after an interview. Also, while in the interview, like I mentioned, highlighting your skills properly during the interview process, also giving credit to your teammates, the collaboration you had in the project, also highlighting your strength. So I think communication is a very key factor when it comes to the kind of mistakes that candidates make during the interview, not being able to communicate properly. So yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you for that. Okay. Seems Tamonoto is really active tonight. Okay, she's asking, will it be possible to give a real life scenario based, okay, example of how a candidate stood out during a recent recruitment process?
Okay, so I think a real life situation would be, let's say a recruiter, for example, asks you a question around a particular subject. Something that can make that candidate stand out is talking around how they would approach it, and also give possibly research backup, and also give a different view to how those things can be approached, or how that problem could be solved. So a typical scenario would be a candidate properly defending how they will solve a particular problem. Like a question is asked by a recruiter, give a clear example of how you will do it. Or you could also relate it to the organization. Maybe you highlighted a problem that, let me say, a fintech. You could highlight a problem that a fintech is not is facing right now. So maybe a recruiter even asks you that question. It is just always good to do your research. Any interview I go for, I always do my research before coming into that interview. I go to the company page, I go to their social media, I highlight a problem, and a recruiter could just ask me, and I would just make reference to that problem. Oh, this thing, possibly we could solve this in this way. So the recruiter just sees that, oh, you are honestly and sincerely interested in coming into this company, and not just coming, you want to bring value to this organization. So make research about the company, possibly highlight problems. If you highlight problems, talk about your research around how you could solve that particular problem, and here I believe you can stand out in that particular manner.
Okay.
Yeah. Another thing would be making reference to how you solved it in your past experience. So you could make similar reference to how you did it while in your past job. Make exact reference. Don't give verbose explanation. Give a step by step to how you solved it. It might not just be only you that solved it, but say the strength, the value you added to solving that particular problem. Also, while referencing your teammate, or highlight your strengths while solving that problem. So yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, I believe this question is very important. Is Amaka, she's asking, should she still apply if she don't meet 100% of the job requirements? You know, most times we feel we are not ready for the role, or you check the job requirement and you see that it's only 70% or 80%. Should you still apply, or you just ignore and look for another opportunity?
Okay, thank God it's Amaka that is even asking the question, because we've seen that most of people that are seen in this particular situation are always females. You see men, if they see that they meet 50% of a particular role, I'm just being very honest, especially with my male friends or even male candidates, if they see that they meet if they see that they meet 50% of a particular role, they are going to apply. It's just being bold. I think it's a thing with men where they are bold about what they have, about the value that they bring. And that is one thing that is different for women. So I would advise you, if you don't meet 100%, but you meet major of those, let's say 70% or 50%, shoot your shot. What is the harm of what's the harm of trying? And apply properly. I wouldn't say shoot your shot, because when you shoot a shot, you're just shooting it anyhow. But shoot your shot strategically and highlight how those skills that was highlighted in that job role, how you showcase how you can do it or how you have done them. It might not be 100% of those skills. So when a recruiter put out those skills for job ads, they they want you to have those skills, but they're just putting possible skills that they want you to have on those roles. Especially with technical skills are very learnable. So if you are applying and you meet at least 50% of a particular job role, please apply. Yeah. Um,
Now, from an applicant standpoint, I notice recruiters these days, they just copy and paste job description. Okay, different companies. Okay, I'm a software tester. Sorry, so I've applied for several roles. Okay,
okay.
I noticed that the
Mm,
what you copy as a job description, you don't really need it in your company per se. You have not started using
mhm.
those tools. Okay, and it's not the tools, what you're working on, the project you're working on, it's not yet applicable, but you just put it on your job description. I don't know if it's to intimidate the applicant, or I don't understand. Okay, and when you now get into the organization, you will notice that they are not even using any of those tools that was projected.
Exactly.
So what's
Mhm.
I don't even know. So what's
So even with recruiters, in as much as they put certain things that are not in the organization, there are basics that they highlight that they actually need. There are basics that are in the job. This thing. Why I said, if you don't meet 100%, please still apply, because there are basics that they need. So maybe some of those things that they highlighted might not be in what they need now in the organization. They might need it in the future, possibly. So like I said, if you don't meet 100%, some of those skills are very basic that a recruiter would need in the organization. Please just go ahead and apply.
okay? Thank you, thank you. But I don't know if it's still possible, but they need to do better on that side. The job, because it really intimidates applicants. Sincerely, it implicates, and maybe because okay, you seen other countries or other companies do that outside, and you know that it's not, but you just put it there. I don't know their reason for ah I mean, the association of hiring managers or recruiters need to look into that. It is well. Okay, so going forward, um, Esther, she's asking that she she has seen remote jobs post asking for time zone overlap. How do you view applicants from Africa for global roles?
For global roles, time zone overlap. So I would say sometimes these jobs. these jobs don't really need you to be on board throughout. So, what recruiters would most likely do is to look at the time zone at which you can possibly be available, maybe for 2 to 3 hours, the time frame you could be possibly available for maybe 2 to 3 hours, and look at the team that you'll be joining and see if that 2 to 3 hours period which you are available works. And something we'll also advise candidates that are applying is to highlight that you are actually flexible around time zone overlaps and that you are available for certain hours. Um, you are available for certain hours to work with the team. So highlighting it in your application also helps. But recruiters also look at the amount of hours that maybe you'll be available for a meeting, a catch up meeting with the team, or yeah, a catch up meeting with the team. So they just look at the time frame you are available and note that and see if it works with the available team right now. So yeah, it's a problem, but there's always a way around it.
Okay, thank you for that. I don't want to bring us back, but I think it's very important. Okay, so do employers really care about certificate, or is it all about what you can demonstrate?
Hmm, I think it's both. I think it's both. Employers care about certificates, but not necessarily. Employer care about certificates, so it gives you visibility. So I'm going to just make reference to let's say HR. I'm looking for an HR role. And I see that you have a certificate for that certification for HR, and someone else doesn't. You will be the first person I want to give look into. It first of all gives you it gives you higher attention for a recruiter. So and a recruiter would look at your side better if you have those certificates. And then I would say it open doors for you. Yeah, it opens door for you, gives you visibility for a recruiter. So it makes you come to that stage of an interview stage where you would have to then demonstrate your skills or talk about your skills. So having a certificate most likely would help you. It will show that oh, you have this knowledge based on this certification. Demonstrating skills could also be learned on the job. So yeah, I would say it is both ways. Certifications are needed, and also you having skills to demonstrate when you get that job is highly needed. You can't tell me you have a certification or you have a particular skill and you get on a job very basic things. I think a particular trend is going on now where you say, oh, you lie to your recruiter that you have you have a particular skill and they tell you to even do something basic and you are doing something else. So yeah, it's both of them are needed on a job
Okay, thank you very
for
much
recruiter.
for the answer. Okay, I don't want to bring us back, but I still believe we can still touch on this because I believe many are switched careers and some are just entering into tech. Okay, so for someone switching into tech from a non-technical background, how do they position themselves significant for job interviews?
If someone switching to tech from a non-technical background, how do you position yourself confidently in a job interview? So, first off, I would say from the very beginning, you don't have a tech background. You don't have a tech background. What do you do knowing that you don't have a tech background? Take courses, familiarize yourself with certain the skills that are required for that kind of role. Also volunteer if you volunteer and maybe get internship. And volunteering some are free, some are not free. But volunteering your time to actually apply your skills so that when you highlight it to recruiters, they will know. Do side projects. So all these things make up to how you position yourself in a particular interview. So I am asking you a question about a technical role or something technical. um you would make reference to that volunteering project you did or is the side project you did. So first off, take courses, or you can even make reference to the courses you did while in the interview. And I think for particularly for entry roles, what recruiters just to be very clear to you, what recruiters are looking out for is your learning ability. Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to learn on the job? They are looking at your behavior. They are looking at your behavior when it comes to your personality. Are you curious as to this particular kind of field? Are you curious? Are you willing to learn? Are you adventurous? Are you creative? That is something that recruiters are looking for. Um, in a beginner's role, and when you prove that, you can prove that through how you the project you volunteer, how you talk about those projects, showing that you really understand it. So yes, those are ways you can actually position yourself confidently in a job interview.
Okay, thank you very much. So, still in line with what you said, okay. So, what's the best way to bridge the gap? At least there are some transferable skills. Maybe I was a customer service and I'm trying to switch into project management. Or so, what's the best way to bridge the gap between the transferable skills?
I'm not sure I understand what you mean between transfer, like how you can transfer those skills that you had in your prior role
Yes, yes, into the new
current
role. You,
work.
yes, you get into. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, especially for, let me make reference to project management, QA, or business analysis. So let's say with projects, you were in a project management role prior, and now you are in a business, you want to go into the business analyst role. I think there would definitely be skills that are that you use while in your project management role. Could be around communication, could be around communication skills, could those are behavioral skills, and it's actually very important. Could be around how you manage a project, how you saw it through from the very beginning. Could also be around while you were in your project management role, you did you gather data that is already leading to business analysis, or you use this particular data to solve a project management problem. That is something you need to highlight on your CV when you are doing business analysis. So there are a whole lot, you might not see it. Maybe you should also talk to a recruiter. If you can talk to a recruiter, oh, this is what I did in this my particular field while I was here. However, I want to transition to this particular role. What do you think are similar roles that I need to see? Or you can use AI, use ChatGPT. Tell ChatGPT, this is what I did in my prior role. I want you to highlight transferable skills that I can use for this new role I am transitioning into. AI has made the world easy. So no matter what, I feel like there will be 1 to 3 things that are transferable in those in your prior role to the role you want to transition into. So yeah, yeah, that is how you could do it and properly highlight it, make reference to real scenarios that happened, make reference to real results. It could be number results, highlight those numbers results that you were able to achieve. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Ruby. We can drop our questions in the chat box. Okay, we have a few minutes left. Okay, do you have any questions regarding the topic that you feel need to be attended to? You can drop it in the chat box. Okay. So, going forward, while we wait for more questions, I noticed that some companies, their policy is two family members can't work within the company. And and or relatives. So if my brother is working in so company, I shouldn't even bother applying because their policy says that um, family members can't work together. Maybe spouses also can't work. Okay. If you don't mind, can you just give an overview why, or and should that also apply, especially in our um, states here in Africa, in Nigeria especially. Okay.
Okay, I might not have a general reason to why businesses do this. I think my prior role at InterSwitch had that policy. KPMG also had that policy. So these businesses definitely have reasons why these policies are there. However, I think you would also need to read the policies properly, because in as much as, let's say for example, with yes, in as much as this company highlights this policy, there could be switches around it. So maybe a business that has sub businesses in those organizations. So let's say I work in audit and there is also HR business in that same organization. We can't have two families in audit, but one of the family can be in audit, another family can be in HR. So maybe sub businesses they can allow it, but being in the same businesses, maybe due to business conflict or emotional conflict, or not being very thorough with your job, or around decision making, or yeah, sharing particular important details with the businesses. I think those are possible reasons why they do that, and it really applies here in Africa. Most, I wouldn't say most, but some of these companies actually have these policies in Nigeria, and it's just due to some business reasons that could be peculiar to the particular businesses or some of the things I mentioned.
Okay, our time is far spent. Want to sincerely appreciate you for attending to our questions and also sparing time to be available. Okay, do you have any final take home note that you can just share to help us stand out in our search, especially in the job market?
Okay, I think my final take would be first off, don't give up. In as much as this um tech job market is really saturated, people are getting jobs, and they are jobs, they are even looking for people. But I think you should be really focused on getting the right opportunity and making yourself stand out. And to stand out, I believe you need to get those skills, familiarize yourself with the basics. I believe the basics is enough for early career people. The basics is enough. Familiarize yourself with those skills, have a can-do attitude or a learning attitude. Also, join communities. Hey, I can't count the number of communities I am currently in, or I joined initially when I wanted to join my career. I looked for communities on LinkedIn, on WhatsApp, join them, because those are people that give you hot information. Like they just give you information that are really trendy around job search or around news in your field. So join that, and also volunteer, do projects, have a side project that you are working on at each time, and volunteer. And also I think another thing you would want to look at, as also as beginners, people just want to start big in the tech industry, and I don't think that is really realistic. Starting big, I would say start from somewhere. Whatever role you are able to get might not be in relation to your field yet, or but it is in the tech industry, and yeah, like we said initially, they are transferable skills. Get on it, get on those things, get whatever you have doing, get it out. And yeah, don't start, you don't have to start big. Start somewhere. You being able to start somewhere is very important. So and be consistent and have a great personality and a behavior. So like, let me just summarize it. One, learn those skills. Don't It should not be just smart. Learn those skills. Two, volunteer. Three, join communities. Four, put yourself out there. Five, don't start, you don't have to start big. You can start from somewhere little and just build patiently and be consistent at it. So yeah, that is
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Okay, I also concord. I concord to our submissions. Okay, I would just want to also elaborate regarding the community. In my present role, I got it from a community. It was posted there, and I applied. Okay, so try and join community as you stated, and also try and hone your skills. So regarding to what she just mentioned, Bright Flame Tech Academy, we have a community where all the 15 tracks are the business analysis, project management, data analysis, cybersecurity, software testing, and I believe most of us are in the community. Okay, and it was promised that during our session today, we are going to give a follow-up regarding projects. She mentioned owning her skills, working on projects and showcasing it. Okay, so we also created another group where those that indicated interest on working on real life projects can jump on projects, collaborate with their colleagues from other teams, okay, and build projects that they can showcase in their portfolio. Okay, so regarding that, if you have not joined the group, kindly join it, and we are going to be pairing you with your colleagues that came from other tracks. Okay, so we have for the team, we have the front end, the back end, the project manager, the product, the technical writer. You won't have a video editing team. Okay, each from each role will pair you together to work on a real life project. Okay, so I'll just quickly highlight before we wrap up what you'll be doing. Okay, so as a product manager, okay, might just pick two of you from your track. You define the product vision, the goals, the timeline. You also ensure that it aligns with the team members and gather requirements. That will be your work. The project manager, you coordinate tasks, you manage the timelines. Okay, you can use any tool that you feel is convenient. The business analyst, you also gather business requirements. Other information will be dropped. I'm just trying to give you an overview. Then the front end developer, either web and mobile, okay, or mobile, you implement UI designs using your HTML, CSS, GSS, JS, sorry. Okay, working with the backend. Backend will also build the logic, the API endpoints, among others. Okay, the cyber security might also give you a special project alongside Web3. Okay, the software tester, you will test whatever it is that you develop in your team to make sure that it's working as stipulated in the requirement. So we love you to collaborate with your team, and we love you to be active so that you can get the best out of this. It was curated to help position you and also stand out in the tech job market. Okay, so other information will be dropped on the group. Okay, if you need any other information to be dropped on the group. Okay, please, you need to help us with some community. Okay, so Grace is asking, before you go, Ebube, can you suggest communities they can join? She's asking, um, please, you need to help us with some community.
Okay,
Do you have anything to say in that light? Yeah.
help with some community. I think when I was learning data analytics, I joined first of all I went to Data First, and you see going for this career stuffs is also very important. I went to Data First. I saw people talking about their various communities that they joined. I joined the one Microsoft Fabric community, Data Africa community. So you see people talking about these communities online if you follow similar people. Also, you can do a search, a quick search on Google, a search on LinkedIn. You see some of these communities, and sometimes top leaders in this industry, they have personal communities that they also have. So what I did was approach them and say, "Oh, I want to join your communities," and they added me to those group. So those are ways you can join those communities. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I believe tonight has been impactful and informative. I sincerely want to appreciate you once again for sparing time despite your busy schedule. I want to appreciate everyone that were present today for this webinar. It continues another session we hold next month where we'll be bringing you professionals in different fields to address our concerns. Okay, so once again, thank you very much
Thank you
and
for
wishing
having
you a
me.
blessed weekend.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.